What is, you making noises over that time?
I'm hearkening back to when En Vogue was on In Living Color with Jim Carrey, and instead of saying whoa 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 whoa, he just howled like a wolf at the moon.
What?
Yes. I will send that to you.
What?
Yep.
Well, that was a choice. That's a thing that happened. Oh my God.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. No, even better. It's Jamie Foxx.
Could it be salt and pepper?
Salt and pepper.
Have you seen the actual video?
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, huh, Mulaney didn't have to exaggerate. That was real. That was legit.
Also, for your reference, he really wasn't exaggerating on Detective Bittenbinder.
Have we found the actual Detective Bittenbinder?
Oh yeah, and he's pissed actually about his characterization, but it's not too far off.
Street smarts.
He's like, I hardly ever wore a cowboy hat.
Hardly ever, but you did at some point. And all it takes is for it to be the one time. All right. You mean I echoed? You know what, Taryn? You got about one more time.
No, I'm starting to pick up the echo a little bit now.
You know, I'm gonna slap you in the face, though.
Okay.
Through the internet. Y'all are gonna rue the day that you said
that you echo.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna
something echo chamber.
Echo. Okay. Is that better?
Not really. Well, wait. Can you say okay in the way that you just did?
Okay.
A bit of reverb.
I'm gonna slap both of you just so hard. It's only when you get animated. That's half the show. All right, y'all just bear with me.
You're never gonna get it.
Huh?
Never gonna get it. Not this time. My echo.
Hey, how's that?
Say something else.
Say something else.
Good.
There's a secret setting on the board.
Oh, wait. I did show up again. Let's just move on. A slight echo just gives you a little bit more epic.
Shut up again. Bullshit. You know what? Y'all got about one more time.
No, let's just go with it. You could say Sunday, Sunday, Sunday a bunch of times, and
Sunday, Sunday, Sunday.
There we go.
All right. Fine.
Good is good enough.
But can you hear me? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? All right, folks. It is time for... I was about to say State of Nerd Junior. I'm getting my shows mixed up. I know Taryn likes us being back-to-back. I'm like, my brain's still thinking gaming and stuff. All right. It is the Commander Shipp and Major Tom show. Howdy, everyone. How you doing?
Bye, howdy.
How you doing, Tom?
I'm just ducky. It's been a crazy couple of weeks. So,
Ducky.
That whole... Yeah, Ducky.
The dinosaur from I was gonna say Once Upon a Time, The Land Before Time.
No, I'm referencing a very young Howard. You're welcome.
I hate it already. All right, and there goes all of our. No, I'm just kidding. All right.
It's been great, guys.
So we are on a new app. We're using Melon. I'm not stopping for them, or else I would have kept their logo on the screen. So if they're going to pay us monies, but I'm hoping the web-based shows will see quite the improvement. And then for anything where someone's soloing or doing, we'll still do our like Streamlabs and recording, or like, or if we're playing games, like we'll still use Streamlabs and stuff for that. So, but also this just means I have less windows up, and I appreciate that so much. It's so good. I have like less things to look at. Oh god, look at that spreadsheet though. Ugh. Let's close that out. All right. Our big topics, like we'll be talking Black Widow toward the end. I'll give you a heads up if you haven't watched it. That will be that'll be your opportunity to leave. And then we'll also do a little bit of Loki episode 5 there toward the end. So we'll run through the news, talk about these. It's not a lot actually. It's a lot less than what we had last week, and some of these are super short. So meantime, I have to spend a lot of time on these. So we'll get to the meat of it. But if you are free, hey, are any of you free August 19th or August 22nd? What about you, Tom? You free that day?
I might be.
You might be.
Maybe.
It is the 35th anniversary of Star Trek The Voyage Home. And that fact just makes Tom feel very seasoned.
Yes.
Seasoned.
Yes, I'm sure many people who also remember seeing it in the theater feel much the same way.
A seasoned nerd.
Yes. Thank you for pouring salt on my wound.
Yeah, it just happened to be on the desk, folks. I'm not that clever to have that joke prepared ahead of time or that corny. But yeah, Star Trek The Voyage Home, 35th anniversary, Fathom events. They do these all the time, different like opera shows or like bring back fan movies or like riff tracks and things like that. They set that up. So check out the theaters near you. You might be able to watch it. And if you watch Red Shirt Rejects, we've already done our re-review. So we've been going through every Star Trek movie. So if you want to go check out our thoughts on this movie, we ended up really liking it going back.
Yeah, like it is still it's a tie between that and First Contact as the best Star Trek movie ever made.
And that's actually what we're going to be getting ready to do next week.
Ooh, shoot. Wrath of Khan.
I mean, I wasn't mad at you. You know, if you like that, what do you like? You like Wrath of Khan more?
I'm torn. They're two different types of films, right?
They are two different types of films.
Like Wrath of Khan is way more serious, and it's an homage to like the to like World War II submarine movies, whereas in this is just fun. And also, I want Kirk's suit. If Kirk's suit is the future of fashion, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Or Sulu's jacket. I'd be fine. The Sulu's jacket's got the little. It's almost like pseudo cape ish, but it's very functional. So it's not like it's not draped over your arm. Like you definitely have like the flap. I don't have a picture of that queued up, but we were talking about that when we did the review, and I'm like,
that cape. Now, like, I mean, that's basically, never mind. But just like that cape is just so extra. There's like a hint of Liberace with it or something along those lines.
All right. Next up, Black Widow debuted this previous weekend and has been racking up. We talked about it Monday night, but we figured we'd dive to the numbers a little bit more here. And I guess I want to push back against some things I've been seeing online. So 140 million on a weekend would be great in non-pandemic. Like that would be a solid, like shit. So Black Widow did 80 just in the theater and did 60 million on Disney Plus. Now, I know what people were thinking. We don't want to stream movies at home. And normally, I am with you. And generally, I am with you. I get it. I still want I want to make sure that but my priority has to be that we still have movies to be able to watch so that we even have the option to show it in theaters. I've seen comments saying like, I'm already paid for the Disney Plus, so why would I need to pay for another? Hey, folks, movies are more than Scarlett Johansson and Florence Pugh um, being on screen. There's a lot of
Yep.
people that need to get paid, and regardless of how much money Disney has in its coffers, they set aside a certain budget and they paid for this particular movie. So it's still, regardless of how much money Disney makes overall, and again, so we could talk about profit and capitalism, like that's another
Hmm.
conversation. It's like, but those people still need to get paid, right? And that still needs to show good on the balance sheet for the company. So next time you're saying, I don't want to support that at all, it's like, remember who you potentially are hurting when you say, I'm not going to do that. And again, I know this is a touchy time period because it's still like we're trying to get back out, but in some place we've blown like all the way, especially in the U.S. This is who this mainly directed at. We've opened up so much that it's like I know there's some nervousness there, so I totally understand that as well. But you know, and then me and Tom have talked about families before. That $30 price, I'm
Hmm.
sure that's probably where a lot of this came from. Is like,
Yep.
this is a no brainer. $30 and we can cook our own popcorn and meals in the house. Yes, yes, please. Yeah, if you have a family of three at least, that
Yeah.
automatically that's a no brainer. And any more than that, then it's just like, yeah.
Though this is not exactly a movie that I would take the family to.
You're not wrong. It'd be almost like it's like a slightly watered down Jason Bourne, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean like, but it is, you know, there are some
I
themes
mean,
that they almost like tackle in some of the other Marvel movies
they
happening in
they
here.
they straight up, talk about forced sterilization and a few other things that I think are even rougher than what was going on with Bourne.
Exactly. Uh,
But
oh, I guess I'll take back the water back comment. It's
yeah,
fine. It's just not stylistically. It's not exactly the same, but content
yes,
wise,
it
it's
is.
just
Yeah, stylistically, it's not as gritty.
yeah, not as
I
pretty or as graphic, but in the concepts they're there. Yeah.
But you know what? What? We'll wait because I know we're talking about it
Yeah.
later.
Cool. Next up, I read this, and is this Tarantino? Right? No, Ryan Johnson. Ryan Johnson had a little fun troll. He's in Greece, getting to enjoy that beautiful uh, ocean air, sea air. Has a very like a who's list of actors and actresses in the country to film this movie. He talked about being on set and seeing a wonderful Greek sunrise. Well, a Greek sunrise in Pokemon Go. He shared this. He shared this screenshot from his Pokemon Go app, which I guess since it is a GPS based game, that probably is actually where the sun is pointed at. He's not. He probably wasn't lying,
Hmm.
but not giving us any more tidbits from the set. But I mean, given how many folks he's got collected there, it almost probably feels like playing Pokemon Go.
Yep.
That many performers.
Yeah, actually, look forward to the announcement next week. I'm calling it here. Squirtle will be joining the cast.
Yeah, you never know, Tom.
Hmm.
But Tom, it's about family. Oh, was that?
Well, no, Knives Out 1 was about family. We don't know what Knives Out 2 is about.
That's true. We will find out relatively soon. Next up, seems like I can't escape Tarantino. I'm
Yes.
trying. Um, I'm gonna avoid doing a rant. Not this actually isn't aimed at Tarantino. It's actually aimed at some of the websites that we aggregate to like get some of our news. Because hey, folks, this is not a full time job yet for some of us. Um,
Hmm.
so Taryn does a great job pulling links and things, but that does mean that occasionally there's going to be some that get wrapped in there that like you read it and you're like, is this an article?
Yeah.
Like, or this was the interview. Like, so when I read it, basically Tarantino is giving his thoughts on the whole Justice League, how Snyder's cut came to be, and I'll
Yeah.
quote that he said, "It'd be kind of curious." So one, he hasn't seen it. That's the our title is a little misleading.
Yes, that
Yet.
kills me about that.
But he says, "quote I'd be kind of curious to see his 4 hour, his original vision on that. I actually thought that was really groovy. And I really actually thought the fans were really groovy. The fact that they kept persisting on it.
Hey, dude. Okay, so I'm gonna be
Go ahead and do it.
I'm gonna rant for a second. We're getting feedback, cringy feedback, from a director who is an anachronism in himself that I don't care about, talking about another director's effort that I care even less about. Oh, gosh.
That's perfect. So one last Tarantino thing, but that's it. I don't need to say anything else on it. That's perfect. He does so, and I know our feelings on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood are kind of, yeah. I go back and forth on it. I generally just didn't enjoy it.
You know, I haven't even. Should I watch it?
I still think it's worth watching. Just because there are some really cool scenes in there. DiCaprio when he's on the set. The things on the set are pretty good. I know the Bruce Lee scene, like, that is dumb. We talked, you and me went into that last week, so I don't think we have to relitigate that. But there's some to the point of the scene that you're talking about that got cut. Tarantino was on the Real Blend podcast and talked about a favorite scene that was on the chopping room floor. It was between the child actors Trudy Fraser and Leonardo DiCaprio. They both had a scene together already in the Western that Rick Dalton's character does in the movie. And this is another one that follows up on a phone call that they felt just didn't fit the rhythm or the feel of the movie. But as far as like what they poured into that scene, apparently it was really good. Leo really loved it, but they were both kind of heartbroken. And it's like, yeah, but it doesn't make sense anymore once they were kind of narrowing in and cutting down the actual theatrical release. So maybe we'll see it in director's cut or something like that.
Maybe. If Snyderverse fans care enough, you can start a campaign.
Maybe that's why he's doing it. He's trying to get some fan attention on the next Tarantino project. Tom, your description of that was.
I'm what?
Perfect. Your description of that was perfect. I love it. Goodness, that photo is small.
Yes.
The pixel
certainly
count,
not universal.
Ah.
Yes.
You went there.
Uh-huh. I'm not above dad jokes.
Yeah, I just wanted to show that one. It's just a small. Well, we're talking about Universal. So since 2005, HBO had the exclusive rights to airing Universal movies like that. Right of first refusal. So it doesn't mean like you might see Universal movies pop up on Netflix and on other streaming platforms later, but usually HBO had the first rights. In 2022, though, that will change, and this is not surprising since Peacock has been released. They've been trickling some of the Universal movies on there. And for folks that are confused, Comcast owns NBC and Universal. So this is a natural step that as Peacock got made, they were going to start putting some of these Universal movies. Hey, Tom, if you want to watch more Fast and the Furious movies, some of them were already on Peacock.
Do I ever?
Now the rest of the franchise will be all together.
Like a family.
Like family.
This is kind of interesting, and as I read through this, I was just thinking about like tiny predators just nipping at Netflix.
And okay, no, I see it. Now I'm tracking what you're.
Yeah, and I'm still kind of rooting for Netflix because they're the only one that's truly independent. And a studio agnostic, if you will, except for their own studio. But woof, yeah, like this is.
I mean, so I do want to say, normally, because you and me have talked about saturation of the market, and just feeling like it just feels like it has to break at some point, and it may not. Maybe there is more pie than we think there is. Maybe more people are continuing to just cut the cable. So this actually is helping them out because they can make their choice of how they want to watch things. But like we said about Peacock already, like I'm not paying for that just to watch The Office. Like it's just not. No. CBS All Access or Paramount Plus now. Sorry. Also, it's like if it wasn't for Star Trek, there's nothing else on there that I really want to watch. Mm-hmm. So there is an interesting thing that's with this deal though. So Peacock can have the first 2-ish months. I know it said. Let me see if I can get it right. Oh, actually, so it's an 18-month window. So here's what that means. During the first 4 months, if a movie comes out, does its theatrical window, right, and is ready to be on DVD or streaming, Peacock can have it for the first 4 months. Then other streaming services can bid for the time after that. So really what they're doing is trying to get eyes on their service first when it comes out. But then if Netflix wants to, hey, we want to show it on our site for a year. After that first 4 months, they could do that. And then what they would aim to do after that is kind of cap it back and bring it back onto Peacock. So to kind of have these buffers. So during this 18-month window span, you want to do about 4 months on theirs, 10-ish months on, you can be anywhere else if someone else wants to buy the rights to that, and then 4 months back on their site. And it might kind of continue in this cycle going forward. And the key thing they said is the studio hopes that by segmenting the release of its films across multiple platforms, it can refresh them across the streaming ecosystem to avoid oversaturation or the prospect that some of the films will seem stale. It also gives the company an important source of revenues. So I kind of like that.
Yeah, I'm not too angry. I mean, it seems thoughtful, right? But
well, it's but it's less grab baggy than all the other things have been like yes, they are getting the rights to their stuff back. So they're like, yeah, we want to make sure we have our stuff in house, but they are thinking because they are definitely lowest on the total ball having come in this late. It just seems very cognizant of like, and we got to figure out a way to play ball going forward.
Yeah, Peacock hasn't really had a lot in the way of material that I think it draws people in. Brave New World was good and interesting, but like most of their content, Apple's doing better than them as far as like content creation. So,
and like we talked last week, I'm so curious to see what happens once people got to pay for it for Apple. So I know that's coming for folks.
But one other interesting thing about that, you were mentioning cutting the cable, and when you do the math on it, I think on average cable plans are like $60 to $80 a month for the low end, and that's 4 or 5 streaming subscriptions.
Yeah.
So
and again, I think it depends on the households too. But,
yeah.
If you got different people in the house paying for different streaming services, that can probably even out. And then I guess it just depends, like, how much do you really need? Because what I pay for is Netflix, the Hulu, Disney package, and then I get HBO Max for free. So I guess the thing is, like, if I had to pay for HBO Max, would I pay for it? And then, am I forgetting something? Maybe
Apple TV.
No, I don't pay for that. I do things to.
You go over to your friend's house and watch it.
Yes.
Your friends who have Macs.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. All your Apple friends.
All my Apple friends. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. All right. we're I was talking last night on State about topics we should circle back around to. It might be time to have another streaming conversation because we did that summer last year.
Yeah, we did it about this time last year.
Yeah, so
I would give it another 6 months because hopefully things are going to start opening up and we may see some changes in behavior from consumers along the way.
Also, I'm eagerly awaiting this Matrix 4 trailer. I don't know when it's going to happen, but when it does come out, I will be a little schoolboy and call out from work and watch it on repeat over and over and over again.
As you're sitting outside in the quad looking at it, put your damn cap on, Aaron.
That was bad. I was like, what are you doing? Just nonchalant. Like it didn't even have the air of like something had happened and I need to go get, I'm trying to like run real quick so no one will notice. Or maybe he's like, maybe if I just play it cool, I can get from this one spot to this spot so I can get back to her. That ain't, nah. Legit, just like slow walking through. And I'm like, and we had to talk about it later, but I will not say the words that were said. All right. Joseph Krasinski is one of my, oh my gosh, look at the size of that thing. Look at it. Look at it. We're going to get used to this app, folks. I promise. Actually, I'm not blaming the app. That might be more of wasn't aware of what the sizing was going to be. So I take that back. I'm not blaming Melon. That might be on me. All right.
Yeah, nerd out for a second on Nerd Union. You may want to check the resolution of the picture versus the resolution of your broadcast. I'm betting that it doesn't scale to it.
There you go. All right. But what we'll do, so that's Joseph Krasinski. If you've watched Tron Legacy or Oblivion, they're not perfect movies, but I think they're nice little romps. And he's directing or Top Gun Maverick, which I don't know how the story is. It looks great.
Looks beautiful. Yeah.
I mean, or go ahead, Tom.
When is that coming out? Like, I would imagine July would be an ideal time for it to come out, but I've not been paying attention.
We were tracking that pretty well, and then we kind of lost it.
Freaking Val Kilmer. July's initial release in Belgium is July 7th, 2021. In Belgium. I'm a little angry about that.
So November 19th, and it will be available on Paramount Plus 45 days after the theatrical release. So it was supposed to be July this year, but the Black Widow pushed back. So the F9 and the Black Widow pushed back, affected Top Gun, and they pushed it back more and more. Let's see.
But, so it, I think it was, I'll be curious to see how this one pans out. Because, like, of a post-2010 Tom Cruise movie, I did like Oblivion a lot. Yeah.
Honestly, I would make the only narrative thing is, like, some of the reveal that happens in that movie. For folks that haven't watched it, I guess I won't. Maybe if you haven't seen a trailer, it might be better for you. But there are some things that are kind of spoiled if you watch the trailer. And it's like, oof, you really shouldn't have. Like, I would have hidden that. It would have made some things better as you're watching it.
Yep. But hey, thank God that Morgan Freeman was there to explain it to us.
Morgan Freeman. But this does not involve Morgan Freeman. Krasinski is going to be helming the adaptation of the graphic novel The Chariot. So The Chariot was a Cold War era secret government project to provide its star agent with a weapon unlike any in the form of a state-of-the-art sports car. Stop me if you've heard this before. It sank into the ocean decades ago, and along with the agent, a petty criminal that wants to change her life has stumbled upon the Chariot, and he's about to find out that the agent that died along with the car's consciousness has been grafted into the car. So that's what I know.
This sounds like a movie from the 80s that would be on a VHF TV channel on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. The sci-fi Saturday afternoon movies. Oh man. That's spot on.
And I'm on fire tonight.
You're bringing it today. So Warner Brothers picked up the script after a little bit of a bidding war, and it's penned by Julian Miotis, and he previously wrote on Jack Ryan. So if you like the Amazon Jack Ryan series, you might also like his writing on this film. So the premise is a little weird.
Yeah.
It might be in that box of, like, since you said the Saturday afternoon, it might be in those that box of movies that have a good premise but were executed poorly. Like, I know this is the first time this is getting put on film, but that's what it makes you think of. It's like, oh yeah, this would be a great candidate for you to bring that on the film, like make it better. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Next up, dun, 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 dun. We don't really care about live action Disney movies because let's be honest, they've been pretty trash. And I know you're looking at me side eye because they made $1 billion, multiple billions. So
Listen, so did
several
Elon
billions.
Musk, and he's trash. Oh,
So to be clear though, I am kind of like seeing black folks getting more big blockbuster and just traditionally like 90s roles that they didn't get. Like I had to root for like Jasmine. I didn't have a black animated star in the Disney realm to root for, so I do like this for that. But production for Little Mermaid started right in the month of March 2020 last year, right when everything was locking down. So of any film production that had the most delays and issues, were not really able to turn that around quickly to start filming. So this is finally wrapped production up in Sardinia, and yeah, Sardinia. But no idea yet when it's going to actually be released because Disney's slate is heavy this year to say the least. So if I had to guess, I think it might be prime for that kind of like January, February time frame. Like help we keep it out of competition from other big, because again, we still haven't gotten through a lot of. I mean, this year is going to be rough. The summer blockbusters of next year. It's probably gonna if I don't know if people remember this, but probably gonna be like 2007. 2007 was just a massive. You had Transformers, you had Pirates
yeah.
free, Spider-Man free. I
think the Fantastic Four,
a Shrek movie, Silver Surfer,
yeah,
Ocean's 13, Super Bad. There's more. There's a bunch of animated ones thrown in there too. I'm forgetting stuff. It was nuts. It was just way too much. I guess. I mean, I enjoyed it. I was in the theater every weekend
mm-hmm.
that whole summer. So if I had to guess, because of things like this, I mean, I would bet money that 20. I don't know how we'd calculate that, but 2022 summer is going to be nuts.
Yeah, I think so as well.
All right. Last or no? What? Oh, I say
last. What?
No, we're moving. We're moving. Thoughts, words, things. Got to change the thing.
Andor. Set photos.
Look at that pillbox, baby.
Ooh. That is a sexy pillbox.
A sexy pillbox.
And it's filling up the entire screen.
So this is the Croshan Reservoir in Scotland. It's become home to an Imperial base. So there's like a bunch of extra antennae and everything's added onto it. And this is giving me more confirmation that Andor is, as much as it's going to be a spy movie, it's really going to show a lot of the resistance battles that happened, like after the Clone Wars, leading up to the events of Rogue One.
Rogue One, not Return.
Right.
Because I was really hoping to finally meet
Rebel Alliance. So not Resistance as far as like the animated show or like post Return, but yeah, this is the pre-Yavin era time frame.
It's still pre-Yavin, even though it's on Andor?
No, not on Andor. Sorry, Andor is the character. Not pre-Yavin. I just meant like pre-battle of Yavin.
Okay.
Pre-Death Star battle. Yeah.
I was hoping this would like lead up to the second Death Star battle.
Ooh, that'd be nice. I think Rogue Squadron is going to end up doing that.
Okay.
I really hope. I know it's going to be a movie, a Patty Jenkins movie. I want a series out of that. That's Rogue Squadron, and show me the Rebel stuff happening. You've already brought Luke back.
Mm-hmm.
Sebastian Stan is right there.
Yes. I also want to see Boffins. And they better die.
I mean, that's half of where the idea for Rogue One came out of. It's just
but none of them were Boffins, were they?
No, they weren't.
Yeah.
I'm saying, but that's part of where they're like, yeah, we should talk about that. And it's like, okay, but of the stories we actually know of, like, we actually know that Bob, like, we have a story for the spies that tried to get the second Death Star plans, but then you do the plans for the first. No, that's what I'm saying. It's like,
yeah,
it definitely is taking some elements of that but it's not telling the story that we. Okay. Let's see.
Many boffins died for this.
We got a little more. He's quite animated. Got some more Knives Out details. So Rian Johnson's longtime friend Noah Sagan, who played Trooper Wagner in the first Knives Out, has been on set and been seen on set in Greece. Yeah, showed a photo of himself. I actually didn't pull it because you can't really see Rian Johnson on it. He's masked up. I was just like, I could share, but you have no idea who we're talking about. You may still not know who we're talking about. But he's almost like a John Ratzenberger in like Pixar for Rian Johnson. So Noah Sagan usually is just in all of Rian. He was in Looper and Brick, so he's kind of like his good luck charm. No word if he was on Last Jedi though. I don't remember if he was like a secret stormtrooper.
He probably was like a stormtrooper or something like that.
Yeah. But yeah. So no word if he's playing the exact same Trooper Wagner in the film. Maybe some folks have speculated maybe he's like on vacation in Greece at the same time that this mystery breaks out, and he'll end up helping Detective LeBlanc. But we'll see. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Kapil Tawakar starred on Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. It is unfortunate that did not get renewed for a third season, because that was a really good show. I had just gotten into it. Just didn't get to finish it. I'll get around to it at some point. But also very sad that it did not get to continue. But Kapil is going on to the Night Court reboot over on NBC. Melissa Rauch will be headlining that reboot. John Lacazette. How was that again?
You want to try that one more time?
Lacazette. You got it. Yeah.
Larroquette.
Okay.
So he's playing John Larroquette's character.
No, John Larroquette's actually going to be back for it.
Playing himself?
I think
playing his old character?
I think playing his old character.
Because I was going to say, I don't care who it is. It would be a challenge to fill those shoes.
Yeah. I don't. All these don't get. No. I'm not gonna start a reboot rant.
I've got a lot of feelings about this one. Like, one, I don't know if Night Court really fits nowadays. Because if you think about like the premise of Night Court, there was a lot of like homeless people that were fronts of jokes, a lot of like weird things that we could laugh at in the 80s, but not so much now.
Yeah.
And nor do we want to laugh at in the 80s.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm sure there might be some. I'm going to piss you off by saying this. Some Joe Rogan fans out there that are like, no, they're not brave enough to, because no one's brave enough to make the jokes anymore like we were in the 80s. Like,
That is what they will say.
Yep. Yeah. Right. So I think that's, I'll be curious. I will see one, maybe two if it's good, but again, like, I have a thing about laugh tracks. Can't deal with them anymore.
I will say though, it could, if it depending on how progressive the show is, it could be a critique of the justice system. And if you do that, I will be 100% on board.
But then, in some ways, it's going to. I will be curious to see how they would meet that challenge of critiquing the justice system while still being wacky. Because like a key pillar for Night Court is wackiness.
Yeah, but I think you could Brooklyn Nine-Nine it.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet.
You haven't watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Nope. As I said, I have a thing about sitcoms.
It's not a laugh track.
I understand that, but
oh my gosh, I'm just saying, like, and it's a shame that it's going like I'm kind of conflicted on it going off because I understand that, like, you don't necessarily want to keep showing positive examples of police in the way of like positive that's ignoring the issues that are. So I get that. So I understand why like uh, green lighted another Law and Order right now. It's just like we don't things like that. We don't necessarily need that.
Mm-hmm.
But the Brooklyn Nine-Nine just hit so many, like they were very aware, but even before it became more of a uh, or before more companies got aware of what they need to be doing last year than during last summer. But I would say Brooklyn Nine-Nine was already very aware of, of a lot of issues they needed to tackle, and I think particularly about Holt and Sergeant Jeffers, Terry and Captain Holt, and the I guess your very special episode where they actually finally have a conversation about police profiling. Did they need to do more of that? Yes. And I guess my other thing was like, you could have also have pivoted the show, in my opinion. Like you got a really good cast, you have a really good base, you've already been making these critiques. So is there a way that you could move forward and keep make that critique sharper?
Mm-hmm.
Start throwing more things at them. Why don't you actually talk about the last summer, what happened, and make those officers have to wrestle with that? Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to change? So to me, I think that would be interesting. Would Fox have done that or allow that to happen? Probably not.
Well, I mean, it isn't Fox News, so maybe.
Yeah, I mean, and it's owned by Disney now, anyway. So, um, questions abound.
Yes.
So moving on to less problematic issues. One of my faves. If you've not watched Judas and the Black Messiah, go watch it after the show. Don't leave us right now.
Yeah.
But it was just for a early and first time director. Just it's not that technically the first thing he's done, but it's like first major feature film. Just knocked it out of the park. And he's coming together with Ryan Coogler, whose production company is like really ramping up. I'm really excited to see them getting more and more projects greenlighted. And if you remember Little Ray Howery, he was the friend in Get Out. He's been on a couple different sitcoms. Or he was was it TSA? Yeah, the TSA friend on Get Out. And they're going to be coming together for an American political insurrection movie. Now, it doesn't have a title yet. And even when I say that premise, like I don't know what else that means. But hey, for your sophomore outing, I'm very curious to see what you put out, Chuck.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. Right. What is next? If you remember, Jessica Powers, She-Hulk in the comics, does a fourth wall break just like Deadpool's character does, and we have it on good authority that will continue in the Disney Plus series when it comes out. So this would mark at least the first Marvel TV series of this new batch that will have that kind of fourth wall break. And I would say, I think if that does well, probably makes us feel a lot more comfortable about what's going to come with Deadpool when it comes down the line. No, these are two different properties, right? So I know they're not the exact same thing. Although they have had interactions with the comics, right? I don't know if they've done a fourth wall break together though. That's a good question.
Where both She-Hulk and
Deadpool are together having a break to the.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm down for a cameo.
Yeah. Cool. And our last bit. So we got a last little bit. The PBS Short Film Festival kicked off yesterday. So it runs from today until the 23rd of July. And their tagline is a decade of being seen. As far as PBS, this festival has done a really good job highlighting a variety of creators, as a lot of indie film festivals do a really good job of doing. Just like getting a lot of diversity in the selections that happen during a weekend. And a lot of this will be online, so you can check it out on the PBS website and see a lot of the films there, and different social media platforms as far as some of the directors and just be hosting a video on their site or on their site or social media platform. And PBS has got a list of it there, so you can definitely go check that out. And this is a great way that you can be supporting supporting the arts in I don't want to say cheaper way, but like definitely more accessible than it's ever been. I mean, we highlight this festival, but there's a ton of festivals that are way more accessible this year and last year than they have ever been. Probably since some of these festivals' inception, probably.
Yeah, I think so. That'll be, I don't know. I'll be interested to see what win. Are there winners out of the PBS Short Film Festival?
Yeah, so you still submit for categories, and
Okay.
they'll have different kind of wins as far as like some of it's user submitted, like you submit a survey of after each film. Like Chicago International Film Festival does that too, where like after each one we'd have these little cards, kind of submit the fan favorites, but then you have like a panel, and the PBS also has a panel of jurors that will like select some of the best in different categories as well. All
Okay.
right. James Gunn doesn't want to make superhero movies anymore. It's not quite what he said. Again, another article title that was kind of like, it's not exactly what he said. So he spoke to SFX magazine about the upcoming sequel to the Suicide Squad and why he wanted to make it a little bit different than most superhero movies. So I'll quote from Gunn: "They're mostly boring to me right now. I loved them at the beginning. Yeah. There are still people trying to do different things with them, but it's not a 100% rule. But a lot of them are boring. So I think it's about bringing in other elements from different genres. And something that really attracted him to the idea of doing the Suicide Squad, specifically, and I'll quote him again, I love the idea of making a supervillain war caper film. Films like The Dirty Dozen, Where Eagles Dare, those are different elements from the backdrop of war and the caper heist element to the sneaking around, the high stakes, the adventures." And I'll quote him one more time because this really... I like getting these little. This is another great little insight into the filmmaker, and I like when we get these little nuggets. But it gave me a great excuse to be able to create a film in a genre I've loved since I was a little kid, and do it in a big way, and not have to hold back. So yeah, I almost wonder if Suicide Squad would be a little bit of like a child love letter to, like when he says The Dirty Dozen, and I think about what I've seen in trailers so far, I'm like, oh, okay, that tracks. That tracks a little bit. Gathering the gang together to to knock out an impossible task. Like, okay, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, in some ways, like, yeah, water's wet. Nobody wants to make it bad. I think Josh Trank would agree with him. But I do agree with him. As we get deeper into it, I do agree with him about the formulaic nature of Marvel films, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in some ways, like, I'm wondering, do we, like, is that the formula in order to make a superhero movie? Because DC has tried to skew away from that, and when they do, you get Snyder crap. And so yeah, I'm really curious to see where Suicide Squad goes with this.
Yeah, and it's just, yeah, I feel like I'd have a longer thought on that, but it's dominated the culture so much, and like if all we're gonna do is just reinterpret different genres through the superhero lens, I got news for you. We did that in comics in the 80s and 90s, and again, I get everyone doesn't read comics. This isn't like a back in my day. It's like, that's not what I mean. I'm just saying, but like, good Lord, this is tedious. Like, I'm tired. I get the boredom piece immediately when he said it, and that resonated with me wholly. So, yeah, I'll leave it there. And talk about someone that I don't know how to feel about this next one. Also, Tom, is this Tom Hardy or is it Logan Marshall Green, or is it Jai Courtney?
It's not Jai Courtney's blonder.
There you go. But is it Logan Marshall Green? Have I pulled a fast one on you?
No, I don't think you have.
You're right. I did not. But you weren't quite sure.
Hardy does have a bit more of a distinctive face, I think. but
it's in the eyes for me.
he still has a bit of young Picard going on.
Oh man, I forgot that happened. Let's move on. Uh, so we're talking about. So Tom Hardy has a writing credit on the upcoming Venom: Let There Be Carnage. The writer. I apologize, Marcel. I lopped off your first name. Give me one moment. I'm going to correct that. Kelly Marcel. Sorry, Kelly. Yeah, deepest apologies. But their Empire gave a report on Kelly Marcel writing on the film and her interactions with Tom Hardy. So let Marcel quote themselves, or I'll quote Marcel. And it was talking about Hardy's contributions, that it was very new for him to get the credit, but it's not new for him to be involved. He absolutely 100% committed to everything that he does. He's married to Venom. He loves his character. He's very involved with what he thinks should happen. And while she gets the full screenplay credit, so it's not taken away from her credit, but just like adding like an additional, um, sometimes you get like something like additional story elements by such and such. It'll be something on the magnitude of that. And during the quarantine, we spent quoting Marcel again, we spent months breaking the story together on FaceTime, riffing on ideas, seeing what worked, seeing what didn't. Then it took something we spoke about and hold up somewhere for 3 months quietly, knocking out a script. So that sounds about right.
Mm-hmm. I'm not too bothered by this particular story. Tom Hardy does his homework, and he usually dives into characters more so than most people. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna give it a moment to trust him on that.
If it makes the sequel, excuse me, and if it makes the sequel better,
yeah.
Because I was very ambivalent about the first one. Like Hardy and Venom are pretty good. Like I do like their interactions, but the plot that they're in is down with a box of bricks. Like it doesn't get much sillier, and the fight between just two CGI blobs is just.
Yeah, that was zero stakes, right?
Yeah.
Just
right.
Yeah.
Our last news story before we do Loki and Black Widow. Kevin Feige has said that no one's getting multi-year deals anymore. It's all over, baby. No, it's not exact. Well, hey, again, not exactly. It's more of just what makes sense from project to project. If you already know you're going to need someone in next part, like the phase 5 and phase 4 and the next pieces like that, hit them in multiple appearances, like then yes, they will lock them up, go and get a couple of those signed up, particularly so that they know that people will be available and have that kind of already charted out. But generally, they're going to try to avoid doing the long Chris Evans, the 9-movie Samuel Jackson deal, how we had all those expiring contracts heading into Endgame. And I think part of this, even though there's said to be flexibility, I'm also wondering if there's some tactical, like not showing your hand of like who's exactly going to be like, predicting someone is going to die because, hey, the contract's up, so they must be done, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm very curious as to like his feelings behind this, because he's like, yeah, I want people to come in and be excited about it. Are you saying that Samuel L. Jackson is not excited about playing Nick Fury and the millions and millions of dollars that he's made playing Nick Fury?
Mm-hmm.
Basically playing himself, walking in and just putting on an eye patch and being him. I keep going back and forth as to whether or not this is him being thoughtful and responsive to Chris Evans's feelings near the end, and Robert Downey Jr. for that matter. Both of them were done, and they were overworked through that entire thing. Or is this he doesn't want another Chris Evans or RDJ situation, and instead he just, says, "Hey, if you want to be it, you're gonna have to prove to me you're happy about being in this movie."
Yeah. I don't know. We're just in a lot of uncharted territory.
Yep.
Like, but something that we can't talk about that's been staked out is Loki episode 5. So, folks, this is your warning about spoilers. If you have not watched episode 5 from last Wednesday, this is your opportunity to pop out for a bit. Or I guess technically it'd be spoilers going all the way for the rest of the broadcast. So yeah, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And so got a nice little picture of the variant Lokis up there. And it felt weird.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't a bad episode.
It really wasn't a good episode for me. I think a lot of people were kind of excited about all the Lokis, which is, cool. But also, I don't know. I just, it was, to me, it was an episode that got from one point to another. Right? It was the plot point to get them to whatever it is that they're going to, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the time rainbow.
The end of the time rainbow. Okay, so roll with me on this for a sec.
Sure.
Do you feel like the episode felt weird because we don't know what the stakes are?
I think a little bit of that. Like there's been, I would agree, because throughout this whole thing is just like there's no reason yet to root for Loki or Lokis just to win this, right? Like this is currently his cockamamie idea to rule the universe, and I don't want him to necessarily win because he's never shown that he's worthy of being somebody to rule the universe. He's not saving anything other than himself, though that's starting to like show itself a little bit.
And there's an assumption that the show is depending on you trusting what happens in episode 1 after he sees the video of himself dying.
Yes.
I really think they are banking on, hey, that obviously is going to spark a change in him. And I'm not saying that it hasn't. He's clearly acting differently than I would have expected Loki at that point. Like if I rewind back to the end of Avengers, he's definitely acting different than I would have expected that Loki to act. So that is fair. But that still doesn't leave he still had to go through Dark World. He still had to go through Ragnarok and those things to finally get into a place of and honestly, let's be honest about what happened before or as Ragnarok was starting. He's still lying to everyone and had tucked Odin away on Earth. So even in Ragnarok, that was still a process before we obviously get to his untimely death in Infinity War. So we're getting to episode 5, and it's still like I guess I'm supposed to just go off everything you're doing here that you've changed. There are differences, but I don't know if you're are you still conniving to do a thing? Because when you were on Levermentus with Sylvie, that still seemed like you were very much like, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. How can I scheme and plan out of this situation? So I still don't trust that as far as all your intentions are good per se.
Agreed. Yeah, they really haven't done much to convince me that Loki is who he is, or who they seem to be framing him to be. Like he's not a hero in this, and
what does a hero look like in this situation? I don't.
Yeah, he's not even an anti-hero in this situation as well, because I don't see him doing any good yet, right? what has he done that's good in this entire thing to make him an anti-hero?
Because I guess you could say saved Sylvie, but maybe you could argue
But
she saved
is he
herself.
self-serving himself with saving Sylvie? And is that really a good thing?
I don't know.
Yeah.
And and maybe it's one of those things, to be fair to the show, maybe it's one of those things that because there can be some shows when the puzzle piece drops in that last episode, makes, so like who's actually running the TVA, that could answer a lot of questions here. And I will say, if the themes are supposed to be more about control, right, and not being not having your fate determined for you, which they hit heavy in the first two episodes, but then they've kind of
moved away, and it's.
I think that could have been, that was a bedrock that's there that you should have leaned into more these last couple episodes, and it will make this reveal in episode 6 that much more like, yes, fantastic, great, because that's why you want to make sure that, like, because that would fit with Loki, even though he is the trickster, and even though but like his whole line of glorious purpose, that he feels like he is destined to be the master of his fate, or this is what I am entitled to, and I'm going to take what is mine. But that would line up, even if it may be for the wrong reasons. I could still track with that. I could be like, cool, got it. So this is why you and the TVA y'all are never going to coexist and mesh together. And I'm actually with you on taking them down, because this is hurting not just yourself, but this is actually hurting other people. What comes after it, that's still the big.
Right now, I'm rooting for the TVA to be another Loki.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Because if they're the most numerous variant, then do you think, go back to the time when time wars were happening, or the temporal wars were happening, or multiversal wars, whatever they called it, I don't remember. Then it was probably Loki's fighting each other.
Yep.
So it might have been Loki's that said, we gotta stop.
Yeah.
And wouldn't it be like a Loki to set up a machine puppet? Man, the only thing that would have been better is if it had been that projection energy that they do. Like, I guess that would have been too on the nose. Like, we would have known. If he'd done that, it would have been like, oh.
Plus, if you think about it, if he is a Loki, that means that he would have to constantly project that stuff. When he's just like, why don't I just have people build robots for me?
Yeah, good point. All right. But yeah, that's our thoughts on Loki episode 5. Richard E. Grant on Twitter has been fantastic. I will say, performance-wise, I had a lot of so that I had fun with those moments. His conjuring of Asgard to the script. Just
I loved
that
he chewed scenery while he made scenery that a monster chewed up.
That's it. You're on point, man. Descriptions. Y'all just.
Thank you.
Y'all need to appreciate Tom's greatness. It's amazing.
Yeah, just this week. Who knows what's going to be like next week?
We have a cool note that Taryn threw in about not Hiddleston, Chris Hemsworth. The 4 frogs you see trapped in the bottle, even though it's for a second and it's a short audio clip, that's Hemsworth's voice making that noise, and it's not just a recycled clip. He came in real quick and recorded that sound for them to keep the continuity of Thor's in the universe. So no word yet if we're going to get more from a frog, but we shall see.
Yeah, I was super. I was touched that happened, actually, and I hope to see more of that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see a lot of that from from What If. That's going to be fun, because I think they did RDJ doing the voice work.
Yeah, and now we're going to get our last T'Challa appearance.
Yep.
God, if that's the one that's on my birthday, it comes out on August 11th on my birthday. So if it, I will be I will be a mess.
Happy sad birthday.
Like I haven't even watched. I was supposed to review the Five Bloods, and I didn't do it because I didn't. I'm like trying to save my Bozeman movies as like presents to myself. Um, yeah. All right. Our last one of the night.
Ooh.
Black Widow.
Yeah.
Dom, do you want to go first?
Yeah, this very well may be the best Marvel movie I have ever seen.
Whoa.
I was what?
I can't go that far. Go ahead. Sell me on it. Sell me on it.
So here, like, I felt like somebody, I think maybe on your thread on Facebook, made a comparison to like a bad '90s movie with good actors.
I think it was on my wall.
Fitness.
Yeah, it was on my wall.
And it's not like I think this was more thoughtfully written than people give it credit for. I thought that the acting was spot on. There was a really good balance between fun and seriousness. The fun that you see is still kind of in the seriousness. Callbacks galore throughout that film as well. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Is it Pew?
Pew pew.
Pew pew. It's like that one scene where she's like, "You're a poser," and then and then 30 minutes later she does the same land. She's like, "Yeah, she's a poser."
Because she like shakes it off. She's like,
"Yeah,
ugh.
That did not work out well."
Gosh, that was such a sibling thing.
Yeah.
Oh God, I could see. I can just like imagine my brother doing like I don't know what the thing would be, but I just could imagine my brother doing that scene, picking at me.
Yep.
If I were in Black Widow's shoes, like I just see it. It's like we've probably done something about something in our lives. I just like insert a story here, and I'm like, God, I nailed that.
Like the other thing that I liked about it, which is going to sound silly when I say it, is like there were no gotcha surprises in it.
Or like not an earned reveal. Is that what you kind of like?
Yeah, like every reveal was hinted at, and wasn't like, surprise, idiots! It's been it's Agatha all along, or guess what? We've turned your mom, who's been pining over you and looking for you, into like a murderous robot, and she's going to kill you because we knew when you blew up the first red room, you were going to come and try and kill us again. So we took your mom and made her into a robot to kill you, or something dumb like that, which is something that you would see in a superhero movie of certain types. So, like, I think that this was the most, and I know it sounds like I'm not saying it's a great movie because of it. This is like the most thoughtful and measured script I've seen from Marvel. The only one that might be a good challenge for this is Winter Soldier. And I think that is Smart House. I have no idea what Smart House is, Lindy Fitness.
All right. You got. I mean, I know we have more, but okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let me.
Tell me I'm wrong.
When I have more time to like watch it again and dwell on it, it will probably still be up there very high. I wouldn't be surprised if it's in my top 10, maybe sneak into my top 5. But there's a couple glaring problems of why I could not make it.
Okay.
Number one, I immediately bristle against that. So, I guess let me describe this is not fair to the movie. So this one problem is not fair to the movie. So I'm going to put that out there immediately. But one, there should be probably 2 Black Widow movies. 1 should have came out right after Iron Man 2.
Yes.
Just build off the hype from Scarlett Johansson, like kicking ass in that hallway, to where Happy could only be one person. Like that should, And granted, maybe they didn't know how successful her scenes were going to be. So even if it wasn't that next summer, like 2012, in the before Avengers,
and then we could have talked about the red in her ledger that she keeps talking about.
Like Budapest.
Yeah.
How hard is it to just make that? So I was talking to Lindy. I was actually talking to Lindy Fitness last night. Is that there's a thread in this movie about what happened, like the red. You're right, Red Ledger that shows up in Avengers. We would have had more info of like, oh, we know what that is, right? And I feel like if you make Black Widow 1, it's at Budapest trying to get out. You show the bombing that we see in this film, and we all assume that Dreykov is gone, right? And you have the daughter. You still do the daughter thing. Don't hide that. Make her have to make that decision, so that it is on your mind in Avengers. We go, da 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 da. Now after Civil War, and this the other part. So this should have been after Civil War. I know it's set after Civil War. This should have also been released after Civil War, and it now just doesn't. Sorry. But when these reveals happen in the movie, the impact of those, like the daughter has grown up, and that's been the one that's been hunting you down this entire movie. So much so that when she has that, because you kind of think her and Taskmaster are going to have a fight at the end. You need to have one last final fight, but that's not it. Because the whole reason Taskmaster's only been there to like do what her father says. So once that's out the window, and now that Natasha gives her nothing else to react to, like the fight is done. So that actually made sense to me. But I think it would have been bigger if Natasha's also like, crap. This is the kid from a couple movies ago.
Yep.
This is like, it's you're as an audience member have to like also accept that quickly and move on to it. So it's not that what they did was bad. The reveals are good, but just in the overall MCU. And again, that's why I said is like this is not fair to the movie because the movie's great, but these are things that like, hey Marvel, if you gave a little more, if you moved on these a little bit quicker, this could have also been more impactful, and it wouldn't have been such a slap in the face to Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow's character also. So that's.
I do agree with you, but I also don't. I'm not confident that we would have had the same quality of movie if we did it before. I think that there were.
I mean, that's possible.
A lot of lessons learned from Captain Marvel and probably Wonder Woman as well that I think heavily influenced the script.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I did roll my eyes a little bit at a couple of ass shots that were just completely.
Okay, I wasn't crazy. All right.
No, I think that I was.
All right, I was like, is that something like that?
It felt gazy. It really felt gazy. Like there's one particular scene that was.
It was early on too.
Yeah, when she was walking to a car, I think it was just butt right there, and like that just seemed like an unnecessary angle to establish that shot, and I think it would have been worse if we made a.
You do have that. That is a point. Could have also gotten some bad shots of Black Widow right after Iron Man 2.
Because I mean, think about how much they objectified her in Iron Man 2.
That is fair. That's fair. I will. That would definitely be a bad. Yeah.
So I agree with you, but also from like a time traveling perspective, if this script or these script writers had the same mentality in 2010 or 2011, then yes, I would have loved to have seen that. And I've said this before, and when we've talked about this, is like I would have loved a Black Widow movie where the entire plot is, hey, there's a zip disk up on the top floor of this building that is filled with low-end henchmen. You need to just murder your way through all the way to the top
just give
to
us
get
like
this ancient-ass zip disk. Oh, and then when you're done, go on eBay and buy a zip drive so you can read it for.
Um, so I wanted to put that out there because I don't want to bang the movie up for that. So really, the only things narratively that irked me a little bit, the mom, like, you're engaged in child trafficking. You can't just shove all that onto Dreykov. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I get that he's the main dude, but you were helping him. Now again, if maybe we're talking about a system of abuse there, or like, I guess, and then maybe that's some of the connotation is that everyone that's under his employ, especially the widows and with the pheromones and things like that, like, maybe that made connection should have been a little more clear, but
Yeah, because wasn't she pheromoned?
yeah,
Yeah.
to mean that she couldn't attack him. But again, they are also Russian agents, so that's the other things. Like, you were, as far as I can tell from how the narrative's presented, this seemed like something that, and again, we could get into Russian geopolitical conversation here as well if we wanted to. Um, as far as like how much was their military service at that time voluntary or forced, as far as like conscription. So I totally understand that as well.
Well, I mean, if we look at her age, she's not Soviet. I'm sorry, but there's no way that Scarlett Johansson could be a Soviet agent. She would only be a Russian agent.
No. Whoa. Back up.
Oh,
No, I'm talking about the mom.
Ah, yes.
No. I'm not talking about. Yeah, I'm not talking about. Obviously, the kids. That's a different thing. The kids. Any of the kids that got kidnapped into the Red Room. I'm not saying they're not responsible for some of their actions, but that's a lot. That's very compromised. But the other widows, specifically Rachel Weisz's character, that kind of just gets glossed over. I don't think they thought about what the connotation they were making there, because she's close knit to Dreykov in the house, right? Because they're assuming like she's continuing to make this process for them. She's controlling the pigs, right? So
yeah.
I don't. Again, I get she does the mom thing. She like supports them and helps them get out. Like, so you're getting kudos for that. But I don't know. There's a little that. Ugh. The Captain America joke, I thought that was going to get paid off.
Yeah.
You have to fight there with Taskmaster, who's definitely using Cap moves there. And I thought, this would have been a good time for him to be like, you don't fight like Cap, or something like that. So you said it twice, rule of threes.
Yep.
So like, yeah, it was going to be time to do it. Or maybe the rule of three was when she told him like, no, he was still in the ice. So I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Some people are speculating that maybe there's some time shenanigans, a Cap variant.
I think he's older than. I think because he's basically a copy of the super soldier serum, right?
Right.
And Bucky was technically a super soldier before he died in First Avenger. So there's a high likelihood that he may have been a super soldier as well. Because, like, if you think about Elijah, he's aged quite well, considering he's also like in his hundreds.
Yeah. So like, when did this version of Red Guardian actually become Red Guardian? Okay, that's a fair one. So it could possibly still be. Yeah.
But there's still a problem with it because Captain America, his reveal and put on ice was all during World War II, in which we were allies with the Russians. So the only way that he would have fought, but the only way he would have fought is if it was like, hey, we're both on the same base together. You want to see how this goes? You know, a la Rocky and Apollo Creed style, the end of Rocky 3. But yeah.
Yeah. And now to your point, you're saying you read the mom as a. No, I mean she's not. She says she's a widow. Like, so she definitely, like, that's accurate. But they are taking very nationalistic pride in some of the events that have happened, and even if you take away the ending of the movie, they are in America to subvert the U.S. government very knowingly. Like, that's not you know, and the Red Room was definitely running at that time.
Yep.
So I'm just saying, like, I don't know, I don't know if they maybe should have thought that through a little bit more, but I won't stay on that for much longer. Um, the Taskmaster reveal is pretty cool. The
Hmm.
only problem I have with it is, I guess Taskmaster's gone now, or maybe someone could take the suit. Maybe you can still move that on to someone else and let them use that, because there's some really cool Taskmaster stories of him basically whooping up on the Avengers. Um, and now if that's how it ends, again, I don't mind the resolution. I don't mind the resolution that Widow had there. I think that is super
Hmm.
solid for the story. But I think I would hate to see the Taskmaster mantle just gone
Go
after
away.
that. Yeah.
But it's not the first time, right? That's
You
happened
know,
in the
yeah,
Marvel universe. Um,
you're very, very, yeah, yeah.
one other thing that I will. This is very nitpicky, but I did not like that. Young Natasha in what would it, that like would have been the mid 90s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Has blue hair or turquoise hair. Like, if you're a Soviet sleeper or a Russian sleeper cell trying to fit into
Oh,
Middle America,
yeah, yeah. That
Ohio of all places.
that's a fair point. That's a fair point. It's cool for the movie because you're showing like she's always changing her hair color, like because that's always been a thing.
Yeah.
But so I get, yeah, maybe not blue. That might not have been the one to may not have
Hmm.
been the one to pick. Yeah, and it's on. Yeah, I feel you. Um, I think that's it as far as the any issues I had of it. And even when I'm saying that, like, I think narratively it still worked together really well. There's only one or two scenes, like when the SUV flips up over upside down, and they put seatbelts on, and that was a little weird. It got a little Fast and Furious esque, and that's no, 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 no. And when the helicopter dropped out of the sky, like it was funny, but that was getting into like this. And the only reason I bring that up, I know it's a superhero movie, but these aren't superheroes. Red Guardian will be fine,
Hmm.
but we, oof, they were
Yeah.
surviving some falls in this movie. And as much as you want to
Yeah.
pick on Cap for doing that in Winter Soldier, but at least he's Cap.
Hmm.
So there's just a couple of those where I'm like, please settle down, settle down. Oh god, and we're still doing we're still doing more of that. But uh, the the surprise and the um, amazing revelation of Florence Pugh in this movie.
Hmm.
Um, I can't say enough for how amazing they were in this movie. I'm trying to think. Man, it may have been since Hiddleston in Thor that we've had a performance where I was just that blown away of seeing someone on screen in this franchise. I'm trying to
Yep.
think of someone else. Maybe Holland as Spidey for his little bit there. Um,
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, other than maybe RDJ.
yeah, I think that's fair to say as far as like like you're that impactful in your role and you're that good in your role. It's probably RDJ. I would put Hiddleston, Loki in that. And this is not, and to be clear, folks, this is not saying there aren't other great performances um, throughout the MCU, but just like someone coming in and just like, bow.
Hmm.
Like I wanted her on screen more. I'm glad she gets to start the movie and is in most of the scenes, because if it had been if they'd had to go pick her up or something, so she wasn't in it. If she was in it as little as like Rachel Weisz is in the movie, I would have been upset.
Yeah. Like, you had this on the bench this entire time. What? I am looking forward to, and I think uh, hopefully you agree with my assessment, is that she is going to be the Black Widow
Oh, for sure. And
in
if
the
she's not,
future.
I guess but yeah, if yeah, yeah, hopefully. Yeah, Marvel. I hope you had that in the plans, right? Right?
Hmm.
I hope I hope you had that in the plans, right? For Young Avengers, right?
Not
Gosh.
even Young Avengers, just
Oh, you just give her yeah. I'm
no,
fine.
because like so that was granted. Yeah, she's well. I mean, she's 25, so she's not gonna how how she looks now is going to be how she's gonna look until she's about 40. Um, and so I think having her come in as the Black Widow after Endgame, I think is like, hey, by the way, I heard my sister died. Like, yeah, like I think she's gonna try and kill um, a Hawkeye, and then Hawkeye's gonna turn her like Hawkeye turned Black Natasha,
Mhm.
and then yeah,
Also, I really hate misunderstanding plots. So I
yeah,
really hope that's a quick conversation.
hmm
Like yeah, the get let them have a fight. Like that's fine. But like at the end of that, being like at that quick heart to heart of like, no, your sister, we fought about who was going to have to take like we did not take that lightly. Um, and hopefully that like or maybe even if
I
he
named
knows.
my daughter Natasha. Didn't he name one of his daughters after her?
I don't think so.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, because the kids have already been born. They were already,
But no,
Um,
I thought in Age of Ultron she named one of the
no,
kids
because
was.
it ended up being a boy.
Oh yes,
They didn't call him. They didn't call him a Nat, or maybe I don't know.
maybe he's Nathan.
Yeah, maybe it's Nat or something like yeah. So I could be wrong. I don't remember. I don't remember the kids' names off the top of my head.
I expect that to be a plot point. See that kid named him after your sister.
Yeah. Lindy Fitness says I need to give Korg some respect. Again, this is not saying that. I mean, that's fun, but I wasn't watching the movie for Korg. Like I go back and watch Ragnarok for a lot of things. Korg would be a reason, but when I say think of Black Widow, now I'm thinking Florence Pugh. That's
Hmm.
inseparable. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go back and rewatch this for Florence Pugh. I also talked about this on Monday night. Regardless of what you think of the Mission Impossible films, but Lauren Balfe, the composer in that, is amazing. And he came in here and did a really great job giving another spy thriller sound to it.
Yep.
Very, just very good. I've been listening to it. I noticed that there's not going to be like a really an Avengers score out of this one, which I also like. I think it's good for a spy thriller. It doesn't have to have like a like title track like that, but just really, I really think it fit the mood pretty well.
Yeah, I'm also super appreciative of Hopper's performance. It was really good.
Alexi
Uh,
was good.
I laughed, like Soviet Santa when he finally puts on that uniform.
So I was thinking Incredibles.
Oh yes,
I immediately thought of Incredibles. And I'm like, if we have a live action Incredibles, which Disney actually don't want you to do that, but
oh gosh, yes. You said
if
it.
we did,
It's already on phase 4.
I said yeah. Nell has said Cooper, Lila, and oh, sorry, I missed it. There we go. Cooper, Lila, and Nathaniel are the three kids.
Nat. Yep.
So yeah, there you go. Uh, Lenny Fitness says, "Don't put that juju into the universe ship." I'm
Too
sorry.
late. Too late.
It's immediately what I thought of. I was like, "This is incredible. Like, we're getting this is the closest we're gonna get to."
Hmm. And then comes out and like,
Still fits. I have it in good for you that his accent was not the best.
Yeah.
And apparently Florence did the best out of those four. Um, but I'm sure there's gonna be more breakdown videos of that coming up soon. Cool.
But yeah, I think it's a great movie. I will be surprised if it's not in most people's top 5 of Marvel films. Like I have a hard time imagining. I mean, except for Rise of the Silver Surfer, maybe. But
get out, get out. We should do a ranking of the non-Marvel
Marvel movies. Yeah.
at some point, because I still think X2. Oh no, I guess I take that back. Deadpool will probably be number one.
Yeah.
Like Spider-Man 2 and X2 would probably be on there for me, but number one would probably be, probably number one.
DP1.
Yeah. Dishonor on you, dishonor on your family. Dang.
Wow, Lindy Fitness is feeling a certain way today.
I know. They just
Like,
yeah, Ken, if you effing up.
going after me, going after you. Oof.
Right. All right. What would you rate it?
Out of 10,
Out of 10.
are we talking among the Marvel universe, or are we talking among like film in general?
Film in general.
Film in general, I'll give it a 7 to 8.
Yeah. I was gonna say I think 8's right where I'm at. Because there's still some things I would probably clean up narratively. Lindy Fitness was talking last night about some first act issues of like it is enjoyable throughout the entire thing, but there's definitely some like, what are we doing here to begin with? That just gets better and better as it goes on. Go ahead.
I forgive movies that are like that, because sometimes you need stories to build, and I think that we don't always need exposition to set us up. I think, just walking into a movie and what the hell is going on is kind of good sometimes. Or, hey, this isn't as strong as I thought it should be in the first half or the first quarter of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, you were getting to know some of these characters. You're getting to know the environment and everything else. And, this is completely different from normal Natasha Black Widow situations. It's her as a kid is like the first 20 minutes or 30 minutes of the movie. And then, you're still processing the trauma that she experienced by going back to the Red Room. And then you kind of reestablish, she's running from Ross, and yeah, I think.
Also, I like that opening sequence a lot.
Oh yeah,
it's really good. Definitely got to be one of the better MCU opening sequences.
Agreed. I do agree with you though, and I would have, if Chris Evans made a cameo in this, I would have probably given that a half point higher.
Yeah. Also, where the hell did he just get a Quinjet out of nowhere?
Because her guy, give him enough time and money.
A Quinjet.
Uh-huh. Think about it. A Quinjet, after the fall of S.H.I.E.L.D., might not be a hard thing to get a hold of.
It's still Stark Tech. You know what? Actually, I guess I just answered my own question. No, that would explain it. It's like, where'd you get those? Stark weapons?
But these repulsor rays?
Yeah.
I found them on Canal Street in New York.
What is it? Where does Beaker Street? Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think we're good. That's all we got. Both like Tom 7 to 8. I'm 8 out of 10. Feel comfortable with that. So yeah, I don't want to bang up on the movie for the MCU universe issues, because that's not fair to it. It actually works really well, even with that outside of it. But all right.
And also, I'll say that this one other thing that I'm sure will put us on a 10-minute argument. I apologize now. but I did want to get this out there, is that this is also the best MCU standalone film.
What else would you consider
Like if you were to pluck this out of the MCU, rebrand it to, you know, Purple Widow or whatever, and shown it, I feel like, because I think it relies less on the rest of the MCU.
God, you're right. 10-minute argument. I need to think on that one more.
Think on that, because yeah, like I personally, I feel like this one stands on its own quite well. It's its own contained story.
Yeah, let me think on that, because Guardians comes to mind.
Yeah.
Like,
but in hindsight, Guardians was fun, and it was a good shock, right? Like, hey, wait, this isn't a typical Marvel movie. But I don't know.
Also, it's Captain Marvel does that, but Nick Fury, I would immediately say no, because Nick Fury, and that would be my immediate thing.
What?
Because you need to know why S.H.I.E.L.D. is important in the setup of aliens and Marvel and Captain Marvel. That would be why I would push back against that one. As far as to Tom's criteria, as far as like something that you could pluck out. Now I would say the start of Captain Marvel probably feels really good like that before she gets to Earth. That could almost feel like any other sci-fi element, but then then all the other stuff's got to come back in once she gets on Earth. So I think that'd be where I would lose it. You're saying Lenny Finn is saying between this and Winter Soldier. If that's for Tom's criteria,
I don't know if I would put Winter Soldier. Actually, no, I wouldn't put Winter Soldier in that criteria though. And I'm not different judgments and different criteria for those.
Yeah. I want to think on it more. That's a good question.
Stew on it.
That's a good question. Which one could you pluck out? If I'm making I would agree with you though. If we're making a list of what you could pluck out, this would be on it. I just don't. But you're saying it's the number. I don't know. Part of me wants to agree with you.
I know. Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
All right, get out. All right. On that note, let's bring our beautiful faces back to the forefront.
With Lindy's fitness is dishonor to you. Okay.
Dishonor on you, cat. So this has been the Commander Shipp and Major Tom show. You can make sure to subscribe to us we're on free platforms right now, so you can see us on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. We are on a new streaming platform, Melon. No, they're not paying us to say that. I'm just letting you know because we're still working through some technical issues, although from yesterday to today, it's gone pretty well. I had some things kind of get ironed out to start today, but not bad. And or actually, sorry, we started the show and then all of a sudden the Facebook feed wouldn't show up because they pushed an update to this service, which is great, but could have used some heads up.
Mm-hmm.
Melon give their union money. Hey, if they want to. God, we need some sponsorships. All right, things that are in my head that should not have come out for 500. All right, what do we have coming up the rest of this week? Hey, Wednesday we're off. That's our break day. We ain't got anything going on. Thursday night, the Quorum from 7 to 9 p.m. and we're discussing the final episode of Loki. So that's episode 6. Well, finally, everything will be revealed. We'll know. And then after that, I don't know if we're going to be doing Super Blurred. Red Shirt is definitely next week, but I don't know if we're going to be doing Super Blurred. I may not have time to get. I've been pushing off a script I've written for a show to record for that, so I apologize. but still may not have time to do that on next Thursday, or sorry, on this coming Thursday. And then, as always, remember Friday, the rundown with Taryn Bell. That's your weekly wrap up or from everything that's happened during the weekend. If folks were looking for the video from this past weekend, it should be up on Facebook momentarily. Just had some things going on my end. So, all right. Any last things you need to plug, Tom? You filming anywhere coming up soon?
Am I filming anywhere? I'm not sure. I may do some photography this weekend. Capoeira team. So
Nice.
that could be interesting visually. Yes. Which also, hey, one real quick thing I'm going to throw in here. While not always realistic, I loved how crisp the fight scenes were, and how crisply that they showed their execution and of fighting style. I thought that was really good.
Hey, I've missed fights you can actually track and see.
Yes, yeah, like that overhead shot in the apartment, I thought was gorgeous.
And I thought I was gonna hate. There's a lot of the CGI and the sky thing that I'm just kind of like ambivalent about. And when it starts falling apart, I thought I was gonna really hate that. But when Taskmaster's trying to track her down through the sky, that actually was good. I really thought I was gonna like not like that. But I finally saw it on the screen, and I'm like, oh, this is.
Yeah, that's not bad. Not mad at it.
Yeah. Cool. Gunpowder Milkshake comes out tomorrow. So that will be my review of the week. That is the Karen Gillan, Lena Headley, Michelle Yeoh, Angela Bassett, Cara Gugino. Just, God, that's gonna be good. I feel it. I feel it in my bones. It's gonna be a great assassin fighting movie. It's the women assassin team up movie that we knew we needed, and we're getting it. Cool. So I will hopefully have that out on Friday, but no guarantees. So, all right. So as always, we will salute you to send you off for the night. This has been Commander Shipp and Major Tom Show. We will see you next Tuesday.
Good night.